much.
No. I've never heard that, but that's the origin of cap. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look.
There's a principle that
Right.
we have to follow.
Yeah.
We have to have.
Be true to yourself. You don't have.
And when I came back, the place was a mess. So I knew I was missed.
Deep in here now.
It's incredible. I love it.
Me
That's
too.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And applying the recovery, I thought.
All right, welcome to the McShin Foundation's Get in the Herd podcast here in Richmond, Virginia. We want to do a quick shout out to our sponsors. Up first is the Seed Institute. Seed Institute. If you have any questions about trying to get some trainings, they specialize in trainings, and they also help individuals start their own LLCs. They specialize in startup businesses. They are minority owned as well. So reach out to them, 804-939-0541. And then next up, we have the Farley Center. That was my angel on my shoulder there. We have the Farley Center. They are a treatment center located in Williamsburg, Virginia. If you have any loved ones or anyone that needs some services for substance use disorder and or mental health, give them a call. They have a detox and they take commercial insurances. 804-638-7329. Kelly Eason is the name of their coordinator. Give them a call. The Farley Center. Thank you, Farley Center, for that sponsorship. And then up next, we have Rooted Hair Studios. They are located in Colonial Heights, Virginia. If you give them a call and mention McShin, you'll get 10% off your next hairdo. So go on, get your hair done. Rooted Hair Studio, 804-919-3851. They are located in Colonial Heights, Virginia, and they are locally owned as well. So they're not a whatever commercial brand studio. They're locally owned. So give them a call. 804-919-3851. Mention code McShin, get 10% off. And then we have one last sponsor who wanted to remain anonymous. So we do want to shout them out for that sponsorship. They sponsored the podcast. So I don't have anything to sponsor. I don't have anything to say for them.
Lunch today.
Yes, but we do want to shout them out and say, thank you for that. And we appreciate that. And we appreciate all of our sponsors. And with that, we're going to get into our next episode.
You want to be careful who you take your relationship advice.
What?
I mean, from Trav. I mean, you can. I'm not talking about.
I give great
I'm not
relationship
talking about
advice. And I've never disapproved of.
But can you say,
y'all?
Here we go. Oh God.
What you started?
You're getting me in deep waters already, bro.
If you tune in and you listen to this, to Travis's significant other, I did never disapprove of y'all's relationship. Just said, hey, slow it down, man.
Travis has a significant other?
Yeah.
Oh, God bless you, whoever you are.
Take your time. That's all. Take your time. Get to know each other, man, because you might find out that you don't really like them.
Like most people. I do really good in the texting phase of relationships.
It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have that back when we were younger,
Yeah.
And like now, it's like all you gotta do is just text and fall in love through text messaging.
Yep. Emojis and heart faces and kisses.
Oh, he sent me a heart.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
All
love.
All right, well, look, hey everybody, welcome to the McShin Foundation's Get in the Herd podcast. We got your favorite Martian over there.
Hey.
And this time, I don't know if Raymond's considered an astronaut. He'd probably be a Martian.
Oh,
too.
He's definitely a Martian.
Yeah, he's a Martian.
I am definitely astronaut was what I wanted to be though when I was a kid. But yeah, I'm certainly
really?
of Mars now. Yeah, that was my dream. They don't put epileptics in space though, so yeah, kind of.
I see you more because I guess it's only because of the Star Wars thing that you have the liking to Star Wars. I see you as the Martian.
Yeah. He's calling me a nerd and he's being really nice about it. That's cool.
I see you in the same light as I see Travis. Just so y'all both
so awesome.
Martians.
See, it's awesome and an awesome light.
And I'm like MIB. I'm like my boy from Men in Black.
Which one?
With the little one who rides around inside.
No.
Will Smith or Tommy Lee Jones?
I'm Tommy Lee Jones.
I'm
going around shooting y'all.
Yeah.
with his little pea
That's
gun.
my man.
We
yeah.
don't condone violence.
At all, unless it's against intergalactic planetary takeovers.
That's
Steve's like the guy in the pawn shop in that movie.
oh god.
Wow, that was rough.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's the only one I can remember.
Damn.
That was the man, though. But anyways, welcome y'all, everybody. We are here today. We got Raymond here, myself, Jesse, Travis, Steve over here, and we're just gonna chop it up. We're gonna talk a little bit about recovery. That's the goal here. Some pathways to recovery might come up, just some different things. Let's get at it. Let's have at it. Oh wait, hold on. Let me give a little shout out. Do you got that intro you're gonna play to this? So I don't got to do that, right?
Oh, now we're giving shout outs. We can give shout outs.
No. I'm shout out to our sponsors.
Oh,
You're gonna
okay.
play the intro for this, right? Okay, so I don't have to do it. So sponsors, you don't get no shout out right now because we already have a pre-recorded one.
Aw.
Mhm.
But we love y'all and thank you.
We're shouting y'all out. You know who you are. We're
Yeah,
shouting
yep,
you out
yep.
anyway.
Steve told me though. So Steve, I don't know, he probably told you, Travis, but he texted me.
Steve tells me everything.
So then he must have told you this. He texted
Mhm.
me the other day and he said that he was at the jail. He was at Henrico jail. So we do this we every Tuesday. Steve and a couple of the other staff members and some volunteers go out to one of the jails here locally. There's two of them. There's one that's called Henrico East, and there's one that's called Henrico West. And they go out there and they do like a recorded hope shot. It's recorded live, so it's not recorded. It's a live, live.
It's
episode.
recorded just live.
Yeah, live. So you can't edit it. So it's just all
It's raw, uncut.
raw, uncut, straight from the
Yeah,
heart.
it is.
That's the way I like it.
And yeah, that's the way I liked it too.
Mhm.
Steve,
No, I mean my recovery. I like
Okay.
it raw and uncut.
raw and uncut. Good. So don't be crying when I give it to you.
I like
raw
my
and uncut,
I like
too.
my content
Yeah.
raw and uncut.
So Steve texted me on Tuesday and he said, man, some of the guys up in here said they watched you and Travis.
Oh yeah.
By name.
They knew us by
and-
name.
Yes.
Because I was
and-
thinking about leaving out.
And I was getting ready to text Steve back. I was like, don't tell Travis this.
Olaf told me. I was in the parking lot.
Yeah, Olaf was.
He was like, "You got to come in. They're asking for you." And John was in there like, "Any of y'all? Y'all talking about Hollywood Trav?" And I was like, "Ooh, it's raining and my hair looks good. I'm definitely going back."
So
back in.
Kites were flying everywhere.
John didn't like that one.
Yeah,
Probably not.
They asked for Travis, not him.
and I
but-
delivered. Hey, what's up, everybody? out there?
but I
All my
thought that
fans.
was cool. Not that it was they were
They
saying
asked for you by name too. though.
yeah, and I thought it was cool. Not that particularly you and I, but just the fact that this content is
Yeah.
getting out there, to people that are trying to seek recovery. It don't matter whether you're in jail, prison, homeless, in a house with your family. We want this content to get out to people that need services. We want it to get out there, and we want to be able to help people like us, people that suffer from this illness. So that was cool. That's kind of was like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. So
It was.
we're glad you're listening. We're glad you're liking it. If you get a chance, man, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you get a chance, like this stuff, put a comment on there. Like comments help, so comment and we try to get time and answer the comments. You got any suggestions? You got any if you want to try to get yourself up on here and talk and share your story, reach out to Steve or Travis or Raymond or some of the staff members here, and they can help get you on here. So I just wanted to say that, and now we just want to get into it, man. So let's talk some recovery, y'all.
Yes. I
Yeah.
love recovery.
That's good. I'm sorry.
Fire me up. Yeah, let's do this.
Me and Raymond were having a conversation off camera before it started, and this is something that comes up a lot here. I mean, if you come to an organization, particularly this one, and you're like fresh off the street, the first thing, maybe not the first thing, but a lot of things like the people are going to tell you is like to very quickly pick a pathway. And so like one of the well-known ones are like NA and AA. And so like I like Raymond because knowledgeable view on these things because he knows a few. He's dipped his toes in a few of them, so he can answer questions
definitely
about
has.
a few of them. And an emergent one, I mean, not saying, I mean, to me, just like my knowledge of an emergent one that seems appealing to a lot of newer people coming in is Dharma. And so like I haven't got like just a basis view of it. So like if you could just tell us and the viewers just a little bit about this, just as an option, like because it seems like it's been helpful for you and a lot of other people in here. Can you give us like a little synopsis or a breakdown of it?
And Dharma's been like is your kind of main pathway now.
It
right?
is actually, yeah. And so I modulate between them, but Dharma's definitely been constant for me. Just a little background on me. I was a heavy stimulant addict, and when I came into recovery, I couldn't close my eyes and think for like 5 minutes. And then I was at the Farley Center, one of our sponsors, by the way, the Farley Center.
Shout out to Farley
That's
Center.
right.
There's like a hidden advertisement for
Well,
you.
so one of the things that was really good about the Farley Center is that they had multiple pathways there too. And there was
They do. I
yeah,
didn't
and
know
so
that.
there was a
Okay.
Dharma meeting every single morning at 6 a.m. before breakfast, and I went to it, and I'm just coming off of everything, and somebody told me, well, just try to meditate for 5 seconds, and I was like, man, I can't do this. Like everything's about me. I can't sit still. I can't, I was the way
Yeah.
Travis is normally on the podcast, like
Squirrely.
yeah, squirrely, like, man, I can't do it. Like, come on, I'm coming at you. Like, it's all
Yeah.
about me.
That's right.
And then, just meditating once a day.
That sounded like a
turn-
personal shot.
There was-
Did they
it-
teach us in Dharma? Maybe we ought to talk about smart recovery.
So
Let's switch pathways now. 'cause
I don't like Dharma
it's
anymore.
slowly twisting to getting at me.
so one minute of meditation turned into 15 minutes every morning, and then I started to get it, and so a recovery Dharma meeting is half of it is group meditation where everybody sits down, and it can seem pretty eerie if it's your first meeting ever going to,
Mhm.
because if you walk in a little bit late, it's quiet, like you could hear a pin drop,
Mm.
and for 25 minutes everybody's got their eyes closed, sitting.
Really? That's how they see. I've never sat through one.
Yeah,
So
And-
the first like 20 minutes, you just are meditating.
everybody's meditating. It's a group meditation.
Oh,
And so
wow.
after that, they open it up for sharing for the last half of the meeting. And then it's usually like really chill and calm. And people don't even usually share. Like we'll sit for minutes in silence waiting for somebody to say something.
So I could just do people sit quietly for that 20 minutes?
They do.
Even
Yeah.
like the new people?
Yeah. So we send our intensive participants to
And they sit quietly through it?
they do.
They get it. Sometimes they get disruptive though. Didn't you tell me?
They do not. No.
Oh.
So like the last 10 times we've had our intensive participants come to my Dharma meeting on Thursday nights. If anybody's interested, it's at 4500 Kensington. It's at the Quaker Meeting House. So, everybody's facing one another and everybody's respectful. Like if somebody's acting out, they're probably doing it in a quiet way, but it's a very Zen atmosphere. And when I started, and I'm not going to bash any meeting in particular, but when I first started coming to NA meetings, people throw down books and they want to shout and they want to be like, it's all about principles, not personalities, but yet they're a personality.
Yeah.
And like a Dharma meeting is the complete opposite of that. Like there's no shouting. Everything's very quiet.
Sorry.
It's hard. It's hard to get used to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't. I think we were doing a training one time here, and we were in Moses actually was conducting this training with staff, and we were talking about different things, and like we were talking about meditation, and like the quieting of the mind for me, like that right there, it just is so abnormal to me. Like I would really struggle with that, and that's even 12 years clean, like 12 years in recovery, because I'm so accustomed to like I like noise.
Mhm.
And like what I got in tune with is because that's just how like my house is full of noise. I got kids,
Yeah.
I got 14-year-old,
So it's like
13-year-old.
comforting.
Yeah,
The
so
noise
it's
is
more
comforting.
comforting for me. So like when I go into like what you're talking about, like a 12-step meeting, and I see somebody slamming a book or people back there talking and being rude and disruptive, like it's comfortable. I'm like, oh, it's cool. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's like I would now, not that I would still do it, and I still would probably fit in, kind of like what I was talking about this morning, chameleon. I would adapt and sit for the 20 minutes, but it would freaking
See what it's all about. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like,
it takes a lot of getting used
yeah,
to.
I wanted to hone in on that for just a second, the meditation part of it, because meditation is practiced in almost all spiritual principles. I mean, pathways across. I mean, universally, and like even in NA and AA, like in the there's the morning meditation or the daily meditation, and like a faith based, you meditate on the Lord day and night, and so like what I just trying to like, and I'm interested about it. So like when you first come into the meeting, it's like just a group quieting of the mind? Did they give you something to focus on? Because like even in like psychological practices and stuff like that, they'll be like, all right, you're meditating, like picture yourself breathing in a color and breathing out another color out there. You've heard of this
Yeah,
exercise before?
some of the meditations are guided
Oh,
meditations.
that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Is
Guided
there a
meditation. There we
lead
go.
to like, so when you walk in there, is it just like no and be quiet, or is there somebody kind of saying, okay, let's everybody quiet down now, the meeting's starting? Is
Yeah.
that kind of how it goes?
Yeah, usually there's a little gong that gets
Oh,
rung.
Yeah,
okay,
like
alright.
a
Yeah.
sound bowl.
And
Oh,
that's
the
like-
gong,
It's a sound
I got
bowl.
you.
It's a
Yeah.
But so like if
bowl,
you
yeah.
were new to it, is there any direction, or if like you were new, like if I walked in there with nobody, like not without you, just walked in there by myself, would like somebody kind of guide me on what to do, or is I just kind of watch and kind of get in?
Yeah,
in line?
so there's a reading, right?
Okay.
It goes over like what the Four Noble Truths are in the Eightfold Path and how that relates to recovery, and then we'll say like, here's we're about to meditate. Meditation's a personal practice. Everybody responds to it differently. Just go through it with compassion and love.
Yeah.
And like compassion is the central tenet of recovery dharma, right? Be compassionate to yourself, and then be compassionate to others also.
I like
So,
that.
Yeah. So like compassion is like my main thing. So,
Mm.
like every once in a while I will suffer like compassion fatigue, and it's very normal for every person to go through it. But it hits me hard because I feel like, man, if I'm going through this phase, like, am I at risk? Like, what's going on? Like, sometimes my empathy just kind of, it ebbs and flows a little bit.
Yeah.
So another thing about recovery dharma, though, that we haven't talked about is there's no celebration of clean time or sobriety. No recognition of.
You just are where you are right in the
That's
moment.
it. It's just the day, right? So it's practicing mindfulness. So it doesn't matter if you've been in recovery for 3 years or 3 hours.
So there's probably
everybody's treated the same.
Yeah, and there's probably a lot of people that go there that might not be like from society standpoint or from like recovery community standpoint that aren't like addicts, maybe just people that are just going there to practice practice that, right?
Well, I mean,
does somebody have to have a problem to go there?
I mean, it depends. Like, it depends on how you define the problem. I'm working with somebody who's got a pornography addiction. I know somebody who's got a gambling addiction. There's another person, they consider themselves and like their therapist said they needed to go into recovery because they haven't worked for like 5 years and they just sit at home and they they binge eat and watch Netflix all day. Right. So it's whenever we feel like, hey, I've got a problem, I can't solve it alone. I need to be in a community, and that community is welcoming. So I'm going to feel more comfortable going back there. Now, when I started going to this Dharma meeting, there were only 10 people was the big meeting, and now we're somewhere around 40. So in the last 3 years, it's really grown, I think, because people go and they're like, hey, I found this thing, it's really amazing, why don't you come with me? And then more and more people have started to show up. So there are 4 recovery Dharma meetings in Richmond now, every week.
Used to be. Is there one still here?
Yeah, there's one here in McShin in the Zoom room.
Yeah, so there used
Sunday
to be
night.
one on Sundays.
Yeah, Sunday night at 6.
Now, just
That's
sorry.
go ahead.
Just education wise, is this when you go to the meeting? So you have the meditation first, and then like is it done like a traditional like a 12-step type scenario, or is there another way that's like facilitated after the meditation, and like is there like an education wise or a sharing portion of it? And 2, is there like I know kind of the answer, but I just for the viewers, is it like like an NA or AA, like a sponsor to work through the 12 steps? Is there something similar to that in Dharma?
So Dharma works on there's Dharma, Buddha, and Sangha. Those are the 3 jewels of Buddhism. So Buddha is wisdom, Dharma is the teaching, and Sangha is the community. So those 3 things. So it focuses on Sangha. So if you go to a meeting, that is considered your Sangha. And then we form smaller Sanghas from that. So we don't have traditional sponsors, but I do have a mentor.
There it is.
Yeah. And my mentor has 4 other mentees. And then we all have our own mentees too. So we have different Sanghas.
And the mentor is used. Sorry, and the mentor is used to kind of guide you through the philosophy of Buddha. Or is the Dharma the philosophy part of it?
So there's a book, just like any recovery program, and the book has questions in it, and you go through, and it's not meant to just be done in any particular order.
Book behind you.
Right.
Yeah, this one. This is the new one that just came out.
So it's not like a step-by-step process. It's more like a
Yeah, there are no
a
steps.
philosophical.
It's not philosophical. No, it's practical.
Yeah,
Okay.
but so and this is going to help because I had a question, which you want to look at it? Which was so Dharma, because you talked about those three things. It's Buddhism,
Mhm.
and then the Dharma is the teaching,
Yeah,
and then the
Buddha,
other one is the community,
Sangha.
right? And that's what it was. That's what I guess that's kind of what I was asking is when I said anybody, I mean like you don't even have to have a problem. Like you could just go and become a Buddhist, and the teachings would be Dharma, and Sangha would be the community.
Yeah, well,
right?
I'm not Buddhist. I don't.
Yeah, no, but
consider
I'm
myself
saying no,
Buddhist.
not you, but I'm saying
Yeah.
isn't that kind of like with this, like you don't necessarily have to be like for instance, like in 12-step realms, like I'll say I don't know if AA meetings have closed meetings as well. They might have a meeting where it says if you don't feel like you're an addict, then you're not, this is a closed meeting, you can't be here at this meeting. Like it's not like that there because
no, there are no closed
yeah,
meetings.
it's because it's anybody can come here, whether you
If you were just looking for self-improvement,
yeah, or are you looking for I guess
growth.
like spiritual growth, like people that
Personal
go to
growth.
church, they go and they practice the teachings of Christianity. This is the teachings of Buddha.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's Buddhist teaching, practically sort of made to fit recovery.
Cool. All
Okay.
right. That's cool. Okay.
No, yeah, okay.
Give me a better understanding. I still, man, 20 minutes of meditating and
Yeah.
quietness. I'm just surprised that, and I'm actually happy. I think it's good. I'm happy. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'm like, I don't want to say proud, but just to know that when the intensive participants from here go there and they're able to sit quietly and not be disturbing of it.
Yeah.
Like that's
You
pretty
admire.
good. I admire that. Yeah, I admire that because I know me, I'd be wanting to get up and go use the bathroom, tap somebody on the shoulder, make a joke or something, right?
Mhm.
Because it's hard sometimes to sit and quiet the mind.
And they might be making jokes, but I think that they're doing it in a respectful way, and that's what I admire. 'Cause
Okay, so they're just not being loud with it.
Yeah,
so,
if they're doing it, they're probably doing it like to a place where they're not interrupting. I mean, I spend the whole meditation with my eyes closed.
you're able just to close it out.
I am, yeah. But if somebody gets up and they're making a ruckus, I'd be able to hear that. It would kind of pop me out of it most times. But yeah, I gotta admit, the first time all the intensive participants showed up, I was kind of like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
But they
I
they
remember.
were so good. They were so good.
There were some complaints.
Were there?
Yeah.
Not from the participants. Somebody was telling me Raymond said he don't want these people. They're not allowed to be here.
Oh yeah. No. So one of the
Raymond said they're not allowed.
Raymond
to
was
come
there
to
for
the
Raymond that day.
that's
Not the organization.
that's not what happened. So
Well, that's what they told me, and I was like, "Well, Raymond can't control that."
all
I'm
right, that's
sorry.
a little that's a little hyperbole. So what I said
Hold on,
was
you used the big word.
Yeah,
hyperbole.
nah, I like it.
What's
yeah.
I know high means, but what's purpley mean?
So hyperbole is just blowing something out of
Yeah,
proportion.
exaggerated.
Yeah.
Look,
Speech.
Trav, I asked Raymond, not
Oh,
you.
okay,
All
well,
right.
I
I
mean,
mean, I know you got the welcome
You just didn't want to
vocabulary
ask
over
me.
there.
Look, this is.
You're
this,
right. This time I
this
didn't
would-
want to
this
ask
would-
you. I
This
wanted
would
to
be
ask
a
Raymond.
this would be a perfect
I
place
like
for
when-
you to practice humility.
I like when Raymond knows more than you. So it
Oh,
it irks him when you know more
Oh.
than him,
I
Raymond.
knew that one though.
Man, I'm not getting in the middle of this domestic squabble.
It's between you. It's between you two.
We're practicing love right now.
Yeah.
but I like the way the shots were fired.
No, so like I don't come to recovery meetings here at McShin because I like to keep my personal recovery separate from my workplace.
You don't want to come as Raymond, the McShin employee.
Yeah,
or
so
you want to come as
so
just
what
Raymond.
what I said was, are they going to be comfortable really opening up if I'm in the room, or do I feel comfortable opening up with them in the room? It wasn't I don't want them to come there. It was just like, oh man,
that makes sense.
are they coming every week? Like, what's going on?
Because
Because I was just trying to figure out, like, maybe I needed to find another group.
yeah,
They
Because that's my safe space.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
you
on
need
the
it.
call.
Everybody
Yeah.
needs that. They need that, and they need one thing that I try to hone in on the trainings that I do when it comes to the PRS training and working in this field is you're going to give all day long. You got to be able to go somewhere to receive, and going somewhere where it's everybody that you're giving to is going to be hard to receive.
It is.
So
It's hard. Yeah.
so I'm with you on that, definitely, man. You want to have your own space, your own place.
And there
I-
are times too where I have to go to a meeting and share, like, man, it was a really stressful day at work today. And if there are participants in the room, I'm not going to be talking about
Yeah.
work.
Might be
Yeah.
somebody. Might be one of the reasons you were
Right.
stressed.
yeah. Look at me.
Right.
You are the reason.
Because then then it's going to be like, then Jesse's going to be calling me into his office and he's going to be like, what was it about work yesterday? I'm like, oh man, I can't do it.
Oh, that's good.
That brings up a whole new set of questions. Yeah, separation from work and then your own personal recovery. And gee, we could do like hours on that.
Definitely,
It's a
man.
great
It all
area.
it when you work in this kind of environment, it definitely intertwines. There's some staff members that I watch and witness, and this becomes their recovery. And I try to tell them that it shouldn't be, but it does. And then there's a lot of staff that know how to get that balance and know how to go somewhere and receive it, which is important. I think that's one of the most important things. We had that training a few months ago about it was some I think it might have been language training, but we're talking about like, are we open to pathways? Remember that? I think you had spoke up and we were talking, and and the truth is, man, that not every staff member here is 12 steppers, right? And
Right.
not every participant is we're open, but like the perception from the community, right, because they're just so used to how it's been here, is that it's just 12 step, NA.
Well, it's good for us to talk about what we're familiar with and what works for us. And that's usually what you're getting, is you're just getting a perspective,
which isn't a bad thing either. But
I've had participants tell me that I evangelize Dharma, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm just talking about what
works for me. Yeah, so it works for me. Yeah. And if you believe that you suffer from an illness, right? If you're out there in the world, or whether you go to 12 step, because that's what they say in 12 step, that we suffer from an incurable disease. So if you say that and you believe that, then that there is got to be ways to treat an incurable disease. There's got to be ways to provide some type of band-aid to it.
That's an interesting segue though into a different, like, other recovery pathways, because not all recovery pathways consider addiction to be an incurable disease. I think in smart recovery, usually if you're in recovery for 5 years, it's like cancer. They consider it to be in remission. And then what do? Like, you can check in on it and make sure that it's not growing anymore. But do you still need to be like hunkered down and doing everything the way that you've done it before? The answer in that pathway is usually, no. Now we've got one smart moderator here who is also in AA. So he's very much like, you should continue to go to meetings, even if it's less frequently. But there are some folks in the smart program who, and even in 12-step programs, you do it for a while, and then, we change as individuals, and things change. We want to look for something else.
Yeah. And it actually happens a lot, a really lot more in 12 step than what people they really think about and know. And the only reason why I know this is because I've been around 12 step for a long time, right? I didn't get it my first time, and I've seen people come and go. I've seen people 10 years leave, and it doesn't mean they went back out and used.
Yeah,
it means they just, what you're talking about, it sucks though, because like, I think one of the most important things in all of these that we're talking about, these pathways, whether it's Dharma, whether it's recovery Dharma, whether it's smart recovery, right? That philosophy of giving back, right? Because if you're not there mentoring some of these people there, who is going to be?
Right.
We need people to mentee in recovery Dharma. We need people to teach smart recovery, and it's the same kind of thing in 12 step. So you got some people that get it, and it is that what you described is how I take it as an illness, right? It's in remission. Like my illness is in remission right now. I know that it's in remission, but man, it can it can come
be
right
dormant
back
down
there.
there.
Yeah, you don't want to roll the dice on that.
Yeah,
right?
so I
You
don't.
always wanna
Yeah,
check in.
I don't. I'm just too scared of what it was like for me. So that's what keeps me grounded into what I did in the beginning. Now, it doesn't mean almost like diabetics. If you take care of your health and you work out and watch what you eat, you don't got to take that shot anymore. You might only have to take a pill once a day or something, right? So I don't got to do it every day like I used to, but I got 12 years in recovery and I practice some principles.
Yeah, that's
when
what,
you're
yeah,
early
yeah, I
on,
like that.
you still need to do this stuff.
Yeah.
I've had people new, come and question me about my recovery. Well, I don't see you at this meeting. I'm like, man, what do you mean? I've been grinding, bro. Don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't get it twisted. I go to meetings. You should be going to one every day. You're new. You should be calling your sponsor. You should be doing some stuff, or you should be calling your mentor. You should be meditating, doing this stuff, you're freshly new. You haven't developed. You haven't, that stuff hasn't changed. The illness hasn't gone into remission yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say I'm in a place right now where I'm still going to 5 meetings a week. And even my mentor is like, you should cut one out.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I'm not is because I don't know, like I like them. Like I go for the people.
You're liking it. You like loving it. Yeah.
Well, like I've
yeah.
got friends in every group.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm
cool.
like, man, I do need to cut one out because it's really too much. I work 40 hours a week or more, sometimes 40 hours a week in recovery. And then I go and I do my own thing. Then I got 2 mentees that I'm working with right now. And sometimes it could just feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right. And when little parts of our life start to get out of balance, then the whole thing feels like it's off kilter. And I'm kind of going through that right now. And even my mentor is like, cut one out. And I'm like, I can't.
Raymond, now that you said that, though, that just like our conversation this morning, man, I think all that just intertwines.
It does. Yeah.
All of what you're talking about.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot to keep in
intertwines,
balance.
man. And you probably should follow that guidance, man, because you're just giving so much. And that's where that frustration comes into play.
Yeah, it is. It's frustration with myself because whenever I start to feel compassion fatigue in any way, right? And this is I guess the conversation I was having earlier is just about like hearing so much over and over and over again and just trying to like I can't change that, right? So sometimes it feels overwhelming. And then I start to question, well, am I even being effective? Right? I take it on myself when I shouldn't. And I know that, but at the same time, like just trying to like step away from it a little bit every once in a while and just focus on myself so I can give more. Yeah. It becomes important, but yeah, it is a lot. And I know it's a lot, and then my husband's also in recovery. So it's all
I was going to ask you that. I didn't know Rex is in recovery.
Yeah. Rex just celebrated 3 years.
Does he do Dharma or is Dharma his thing?
No,
too?
Rex is a strict AA guy.
AA? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
And I just outed him on a podcast. So let's see. He might not be my husband anymore.
Well, if he divorces you for that, we got to have a talk with him. But there's a lot of AA meetings that I'm going to where they don't celebrate time as well. Like they'll hand out medallions, but when you get your year, it's not no celebration. Like
it's no celebration in AA that I've ever been to.
So some of them I've seen do a cake. There has been a couple meetings I've gone to in AA where they do that, but the majority of like the hoorah and the big celebrations, that's
mostly an NA thing. Stuff. Yeah. In recovery Dharma, you don't even get anything.
Well, damn, I don't want to go there. And I gotta quiet my mind for 20 minutes, man.
Well, the whole purpose is to get you out of just thinking about yourself.
No,
right?
I get it. I do. And I'm attracted to it, man. I really am. I just, it's just, I know that's a hard task for me. It really is. Like I can do it. Like I'll go into, you remember when you first got here, Trav, and we went to the Y?
Yeah.
In the steam room and the sauna.
Yeah.
Like I can go sit in there and just quiet my mind, maybe have some headphones in, as long as the music will stay, the phone will get hot. But I'm listening and I can just, listen to the music and I want I can quiet my thoughts, but it's usually about one song.
Yeah. You focus on
about
one
3
thing.
minutes. I can just focus on the tune. Like I'll say, Jesse, just listen, because if not, my mind starts thinking about, what's the answer to this? What am I going to do here? What am I going to, Cam's got this going on. What's happening at work? And I'm just like trying to solve problems in my head.
You're doing like a focus meditation.
Yeah, and so I gotta get out of that when I meditate, and I only can do it for about 3 minutes.
Something I learned is that manic thinking, right? That was the addiction for me. Like always worry.
Guy. You're
always. I was a stimulant guy. So like that. Always feeling like fight or flight.
I was the opposite. Yeah.
And so
my wife's like that, and she likes to meditate. Like she's a big traction to meditate. But
Yeah.
then I found out this is what she used to do to me early on. I don't know if she still does this, y'all.
I can't wait.
Oh, she used to be like, I'm going upstairs to meditate. And she used to do this all the time when we moved in together, and we're together. And so I'm like, damn, man, she's one hell of a spiritual woman up there meditating all the time. And then one day she was where I think it was my anniversary one year, and she shared how like she's like, yeah, sometimes I'll tell people I'm meditating. I'm really just up there sleeping. I was like, man, so this whole time you've been telling me you upstairs meditating and your ass up there sleeping.
If your mind is clear and you're not dreaming, then is that meditation?
Yeah.
Or if you're dreaming about one thing, is that focus meditation?
In my house, we call that quiet time.
Yeah, I was wondering why she'd always had to do it on our bed. That's why I was meditating. Like, hell, man.
Yeah, tie it all together. Like the more we talk about the different pathways, the more they kind of seem similar. I mean, it's particularly
Yeah,
in
right.
their
Yeah.
goal, like with SMART after 5 years, it's in remission. Jesse described it as not coming around so much, but I see like in the beginning, like if you come around a lot, but also like the main part of like NA, well, it's a 3-legged table in my opinion, but the step work with your sponsor, and then so you're practicing the principles, and at a point it's like you're not even practicing them no more, you're just living them. You live them, they're so ingrained in you. And so like the meeting part of it would be like more about showing the newcomer the way. So like I could see, well, if you're at least still dipping in to that, then you're giving back, which is like a point of NA and AA, to show the next person, the newcomer, is the most important person in the room. And so like I would think that like Dharma would be like that, because it has the mentors. And what does SMART have as far as like mentorship, or is that just
they have the teachers that I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, they have a.
Yeah.
Usually the moderator is going to be
it's
somebody.
called a moderator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's going to be somebody with a degree.
Right.
So you could take a training on it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you take
Yeah.
a training to be a smart.
Yeah, you have to be certified for it.
Yeah. With that giving back piece that you're talking about, Trav, and like how all these people do it, you know, whether it's through the mentor, the sponsor, the facilitator. It's so ironic, right? Is what I learned, and this is even with like sport. Like I'm a big sports guy, right? Musician. You said you played the piano, and I bet like piano teachers, one of the ways they master playing the piano and they get better at it,
Showing somebody
else how to do it, right? Like teaching somebody else how to do it. It's just like coaching football. Like, the more I coach, the more like I teach the kids, the more it comes back to me, and the more I get better at it. And it's the same thing with recovery. Like the more we mentor, the more we sponsor and give it back, we get better at it, because there's times where like we're giving it and we're like, oh damn, I'm giving this to them. I might want to follow that.
Now I gotta follow it, so I'm not a hypocrite.
Yeah, so I actually found myself in this situation about a month and a half ago. I was talking to one of my mentees on the phone, and I was giving him advice, and then I hung up the phone, and I was like, man, I don't even do that. So I had to call him back, and I was like, yeah, I gave you like just bad advice. It was fortune cookie wisdom at that point, right? Because I was like, I don't do that. Let me tell you how what I
experience,
right? And so we restarted that conversation.
That's
because
good.
It just rubbed me the wrong way after. I was like, man, am I going to tell somebody to do something I don't even do?
That's good that you got
that you
to
were
with that,
aware of
Raymond.
that,
Yeah, because there's so many people, Trav, Raymond, that I've watched, and that y'all probably have seen too. You might go into a meeting and they're like sharing, they're just regurgitating something that they heard somebody else say, and it's nothing they've ever even done in their life. It's like, how are you gonna tell somebody to go? You just regurgitating something you heard.
My favorite thing in any meeting, doesn't matter, it's recovery, Dharma, SMART, or when somebody tells somebody else's story.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, why am I listening about this person who's not even in the room? And I'm glad your sister had a breakthrough, but where is she?
What does that have to do with
what does that have to do with you or me?
I trip out sometimes when like they'll be in this field that we work in, not necessarily meetings, sometimes in meetings too. That it really happens in meetings a lot too, in 12-step, and there'll be somebody that they'll have like a view on something, like for instance like MAT, right? And they never even were on MAT before. Never were on methadone, never were on Suboxone, never took kratom, never took cannabis, but they're gonna try to share that they know it works or that they know it don't work. One or the other. Like, well, you don't even know, you ain't never even done it. You never even been, you don't have no experience with it at all.
Yeah.
Right. You can still have an opinion, but damn, right. You're highly opinionated on something you don't even have any experience with.
Yeah.
So
knowledge
the best
came from somewhere else.
The best way I heard it described, right? So I quit vaping about a little over a year, maybe 14, 15 months ago. And so I used tobacco to stop using tobacco.
Wow, a different form,
right? Boom.
Yeah.
Like, how is that any different than an MAT, right? So somebody who's like on an MOUD for, a medication for opioid use, head bang there. But somebody who's on an MOUD, they're taking Suboxone so that they could stop using fentanyl. Like,
it's not uncommon.
That's not uncommon.
Yeah, not uncommon in the medical world.
I mean, maybe it was 30 years ago. Captain NA, just back off there for a minute.
It's just like with diabetes. I always reverted back to diabetes, just like a diabetic. Like they got to take a shot of insulin now if they get their health up. you know,
Make
if
it
they
eventually move on
move
to
off
eating
of-
healthy
yeah,
and this
yeah,
and
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Definitely. So it's like, you know,
Step by step, as long as it's elevated steps, you know, like yeah.
but you know, that always eats me up when somebody doesn't have like there's, you said, shares somebody else's story,
Yeah.
you know, or no
Mhm.
experience with it, and you start talking about it. You know, that's one of those funny things for me.
I know because I know a person that it happened to.
Yeah, it's like trying to sit at the cool kids table in an insane asylum.
Yeah.
You know, like, let me tell you how cool I am here.
Yeah.
All right, you come on,
Yeah.
you could sit down then.
Yeah, good stuff, Steve. What about you over there, man? What's on your mind over there, Steve?
I was thinking about the MOUD. That's definitely that turned me off the 12 steps when I was using that pathway because
What's the MOUD?
Medication for opioid use disorder.
Okay.
because you
Okay.
get that.
Yeah.
So many
It's
people are
different acronym.
judgmental about that.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so you're separated. They won't talk to you. They won't have
Yeah.
anything to do with you.
Judgmental.
Well, there's that, you know, you're not clean the way that I got clean, therefore you can't do the same thing
Yeah.
that I did mentality that
It's cut and dry. My way's the right way.
yeah,
If you're
yeah,
not
my
doing
way
my
or the highway
yeah.
kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I'm not there are very few people who are like that, but
Right.
you know, that can do a lot of damage. It's
It
like
only takes
dropping
one.
a rock into a still water, you know, it reverberates out. You
Yeah.
turn that person away and that person's not seeking recovery anymore.
Yeah. I remember one time I had so I sponsor guys and you know, 12 step, and I had this guy was, you know, asked me to sponsor him, and he was talking to me about being on a form of MAT. And you know, I called my sponsor up and I was talking to him about it, and he was like, you know, he's like, well, if you don't want to work with them, I'll work with them. He was like, sure, who else is going to? Why not teach them some of the 12-step principles? You know, what you know, why not? And I was like, all right, you know, and I definitely did. I definitely we did, but like, you know, it was like, you know, why shun them? You know, love them, care for them, and try to, you know,
Show 'em a better way.
You
better,
don't strike me as the shunning type though.
and I wasn't. I just, it was
Yeah.
new to me, and so
Yeah,
I
all
wanted
right.
to get some feedback. You know, I wanted
Yeah.
to make sure I was doing the right thing, lining up with you know what's being given to me. And that's something that I always try to practice. You know, is let me get some feedback from somebody. You know, before I make a decision. Something I do here with decision making. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure Raymond, you've seen it, and you know, we were talking about this the other day. Like, typically, we weren't online, we were offline talking about this, but like when I make a decision here, it's not normally like a tip of the spear decision for me. It's more of like, hey, what do you think, Raymond? You know, what do you think, Travis? You know,
Yeah.
let's collectively talk together. You know, it's just not how I operate, and that's how it was. That's kind of what that was.
Yeah.
You know,
I like that. So you were still practicing open-mindedness, but you wanted to do it from an informed position. So like, yeah, that's understandable.
Well,
Yeah.
there's not no one in this room is smarter than all of us combined, right?
Right.
So, you know, Jesse knows some things, you know some things, Trav, I know a couple of things, Steve knows one thing, right? So we all pull that knowledge together and we come out better than we were. I'm picking
Steve,
on
you
him.
should have turned the other. You should have did the other finger with that.
Yeah, actually, that's what I meant.
Wrong finger.
Sorry, wrong thing.
Yeah, you're right, Raymond. Yeah, definitely. Everybody has their strengths and their strong points.
Group conscience.
Yeah.
is always stronger
I
That's
than
love
funny.
it.
Somebody gave me the finger yesterday in the 12-step meeting and then came at me afterwards and was like, I'm so sorry I gave you the finger. I was like, man, you're not even the first person to do that
I
today.
applaud that fellow.
Today.
You know, one time
Today.
one
Just for
time
today.
we used to do stand up. So Raymond, when you started here, my office was the other office, right? I think you when you were here before when it was my
Yeah, Bob's office
and
was
so we were in the smaller office and we were doing stand up in there. And we didn't have this many staff. So we had, I don't know, about 7 staff. And Joycey was kind of new, and like Joycey didn't like something that I had said. You know what she did in the middle of, she's got a lot better at this. She'll probably remember this because I had to pull her aside and talk to her. You know, and most I don't say most, you know, but there are probably some managers that would have got mad and, you know, wrote you up, fired you, whatever. But she gave me the middle finger in front of everybody, right in the middle of stand up.
Nice.
She got mad with something, and
Love you, Joyce.
and so I was like, damn, right? And you know, I just took it, and later on pulled her aside. I was like, yo, what are you doing? The dang on middle finger
Yeah.
in the middle of stand up.
This feels like deja vu. I feel like me and you have had like these similar conversations.
I don't think I've ever given anybody
Multiple
the middle
times.
finger in the office.
The
but
proverbial.
I kind of
middle
prefer when people do that. So then it's like, okay, I know how you feel now. What really chaps my ass is when people come at me sideways and I hear about it from somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh man, Travis been saying some stuff about you behind your back.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
Asymmetrical
what?
warfare.
Yeah.
What did he say behind your back that one time?
Oh, he didn't say anything behind my back. It was a participant trying to rabble rouse.
One that you know too.
I know, but what was it that he said though?
Oh,
you-
just that I'm a disciplinarian and I'm a hard ass and blah 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 blah.
You got
you know?
the
No, I thought
market
it was
corner.
something. I don't know. I thought he said something about arrogant or something.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that's what it was. You told you told me, or no, you told me. or
Man,
something.
anybody who knows me well
knows that
I'm
Raymond
the
is not
first.
arrogant.
I'm the first to admit. I am the first to admit that arrogance is my default defense.
Oh,
No, but
Right.
look, but the reason why I'm saying this, I could have sworn that's what it was, but like if you spot it, you got it, right? So like if he's saying that about you, then that means
nah, but you know what? You know what I
he's
respected.
definitely happy.
You know what I
He's-
respected? Like Raymond knows how to handle these situations because even though it was like disinformation or whatever, I love the way that Raymond approached it. He was just like a grown up. He came and talked to me, and he talked civil. No matter if he was faking the civilness or not. I mean, if he pulled it off well, I mean, he deserves an Academy Award. And we like hashed it out right then and there, and it was like pretty much a dead issue. There was like no need for like aftershock feelings. Like if there was a mistake made in it, we can clean up our end of the road street on both sides. And I
love that
respected
too.
him for it.
Yeah, I love that too, Trav.
Yeah.
But that's recovery, right?
Yeah.
That's what recovery is like. And if Raymond didn't do that, he would have sat on it and could have got
Could have
resentful,
resentments, yeah.
right? But like knowing the person that told Raymond that played a part in a decision I had to make later, right?
Right, yeah.
Like I had to make a decision later about something that individual told somebody about another staff member,
Mhm.
and like I'm like, well, she tends to like try to start stuff,
Yeah.
right? She tends to over. What's that word you used
Hyperbole.
earlier?
Hyperbole.
She
Yeah.
tends to hyperbolate.
Hyperbole.
Hyperbolate.
But yeah, close
Trying to
enough.
learn a
That's how
new
you
word,
make
everybody out
that's how you
there.
make coffee in the morning.
When y'all are
Hyperbolate it.
sitting in y'all's
Hypercolate.
when y'all are sitting in y'all's jail cell doing those crossword puzzles, it might pop up. You never know.
Yeah.
How do you spell it, you two?
Yeah.
HYPERBOLE.
There you go. So if
Mhm.
there's a
Remember
seven-letter
that in your
word,
Scrabble.
7-letter
scenarios.
word, yeah. So, or if you're doing like those things, 7-letter word, that means you over exaggerate.
Yeah.
Hyperbolate.
Inflated words.
But anyways, she likes to do that, and she did that with another staff member, but there was probably some truth to it, but anyways, that's stuff that you gotta, I had to take that's what we were talking about this morning, stuff that you got to take into consideration when
Right.
you're making tough decisions. It's never fun. Well, Steve, what else? Steve, you said you didn't like that. We never hear Steve over here talking.
Yeah, he's a
Give us-
wealth of
give us
knowledge.
something,
too.
Steve.
He's
Yeah.
a man
Oh,
of few
man.
words, but they mean something. when he
Steve,
says it.
Steve didn't have a Facebook until about 6 months ago.
I did not.
Mm.
I did know that actually.
He finally got a
I had
Facebook.
a reason for that.
Have you gotten in trouble with your Facebook?
Not yet, but that's why I didn't have one, because I knew somebody that got into big trouble.
Because you're married. Does your wife have a Facebook?
She does, but she doesn't use it much.
Mm.
I've met some couples where it was like they wouldn't have, like my little sister, her and her husband were like, you can't have a Facebook. We'll have a partner Facebook.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
like,
Oh.
like, what the heck?
Steve, I feel like there's a little secret battle between me and Steve now too, because I mean your hairstyle is
Y'all have a
coming
secret
along.
battle?
Yeah,
Oh.
he just found out about it.
I just
Well, look, actually, I can tell you, Steve, you're definitely winning because he's not far behind you with the white and the gray,
right.
but you're winning.
I'm
there.
winning that.
You're winning with
It's
the
there.
age, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's there.
His front flip is like amazing.
He dyes his. You said I'm
No,
not gonna
I dye mine white. I dye mine white.
You do
I get the white
opposite
tips.
direction. Like,
I don't dye my day on here.
I feel like y'all's hair goes with y'all's outfit too. It's like
Yeah. look at
gray
that.
and black. And,
yeah, it's
Gray
and
black. One of those days.
Yeah.
Everything comes together.
yeah, it comes
Kindred
together.
spirits.
He said it's one of those days where everything comes together.
Yeah, sometimes the stars align.
Every once in a while.
You're
The
following the
chakras.
dress code protocol for the most part over there.
Right.
Now over here,
I'm gonna tuck my sweatshirt in as soon as we go to commercial break.
what's under it?
White
Oh my
t-shirt.
God.
One of those things you gave
It's
me.
a button-up T-shirt.
So those of y'all that don't know Travis from when he was younger, when we grew up together, man, he always, and he still does this. I don't know why, but he wears like 5 shirts.
I layer.
He always wear 5. And back when back in the day, I knew why he did it, right? Because he was shooting dope and skinny. He was real skinny, and
I still layered anyway. I layered before that.
Now you're not skinny anymore, so I'm like, why are you layering?
I'm not skinny.
Why do you got like 5 pair of shirts on?
Yeah,
bro?
I'm sorry. Every man has to come to the conclusion when they hit middle age, like all of us, that we're not skinny anymore. It's okay,
but we can still layer though.
It's okay, Travis.
He layered because he was really skinny. Damn dope needle got him.
I like to say I was slim with the tilted grin.
It'd be in the middle of summertime. We got long sleeve shirts on. Don't look at our track marks.
Yeah. Like we were going in looking for jobs or something.
Yeah. Anything, Steve? Anything? We get ready to end there. That what you got over there?
Oh boy, on the spot.
I like that. A Buddy Holly reference. Oh boy, yeah. Did you plan that out?
No, I did not.
Oh, well, it came across good anyway. Yeah.
I don't play it much out.
Did you get new headphones?
Yeah, I found these around.
Really?
On the shelves.
You know, we have a little bit of sponsorship money. We need to
Yeah, we're down a set.
Okay.
Hold on, no, Raymond. There was actually a singer named Buddy Holly that sang a song called "Oh Boy."
I know
It's not a Dave
Buddy
Weezer
Holly
reference.
Buddy Holly married his cousin. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he did
That's
some weird
Jerry
stuff.
Lee Lewis.
Yeah.
That was
And
Jerry
he
Lee Lewis,
Weezered
actually.
his
That was
cousin.
Jerry Lee Lewis. It wasn't Buddy Holly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Jerry
Buddy
Yeah.
Holly is kind of is Hispanic, right?
No, that's Frankie Valens.
Richie Valens.
Richie Valens.
Richie Valens. I don't know.
Frankie
We're-
Valens was with
we're-
the Four Tops.
Steve, you're getting saved here. I just want you to know that. All right?
You're welcome, Steve.
He designed it like that.
That's how you phone
I
a
see.
friend.
Steve's
That's
like,
called a lifeline.
don't put me on the spot, and everybody else starts talking.
Gotcha, Steve.
It's too late.
I read the signs.
Yeah.
All right, man. Steve, do you have anything come to your head that you want to give everybody?
Man.
He's clearing his mind.
Yeah,
he's a
it's
Dharma
minute.
practicer too. This is
That's
what meditation looks
That's
like.
one of my pathways. I took every pathway that got me to here. I mean, everyone.
When you say here, you mean
Recovery.
Okay.
Like clean time. Like,
Okay.
So try as many as you can if you're listening.
That's good.
Until one fits. Like
one
a
fits,
glove.
man. I wonder what would happen if we went on live here and just did a 20-minute meditation. Would everybody
Yeah,
stay
you
tuned
The
in?
viewership would probably blow. We'd probably go viral.
It could happen. It could happen.
Sorry, that's not
They're not talking. This is great.
20 minutes. I know, right? They finally shut up. How did y'all do that? Get him to him
Do
and
a
Travis.
guided meditation.
Little sound bowl.
So I
Oh,
tell
Reiki.
Travis. I tell Travis this all the time. My office is right across the hall, and the vent it just shoots
Travels.
right across. Yeah, so it travels.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
Trav-
I like what you,
L's.
I like the
Yeah.
hyperbole you used there.
That was not a hyperbole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice
That
try.
was just a fact.
That was like a
That was also a Garbage Pail Kid, Traveling Travis. It was remember
traveling
Yes.
that?
Travis.
It was a
Yes.
piece of gum
Yes.
on a tire. It was
Yes.
my favorite
Yes.
Garbage Pail Kid. Not because
Oh,
it
I
had my
wonder
name
why.
in it.
All right, everybody. Any parting words from the crew? Anything, y'all?
Now, any part of like if you're listening to this one, then one thing that you'll notice, it's a common theme that all of us sitting in this room have picked a pathway, and I've benefited. I'm not going to speak for anybody else or tell their story, but I benefited from picking a pathway, even though like my views on it at first were like I was turned off, but it was just from lack of knowledge. And once I stepped in, it was very helpful in my personal growth and my recovery. So if I could give any suggestion, if you're looking at this and you're thinking about recovery as an option or recovering a pathway, the pathway is the way I did it. And that's all my parting words from this Martian.
Well, I guess this Martian would say, cast a wide net in early recovery. That's what worked for me. Go to as many different meetings as possible, and get to meet different people with different perspectives. From my own personal experience, usually it's that person who says something that really irritates me, where I get to look back and say, well, what was it exactly that irritated me? It's usually because there's some truth to it. So find your tribe in whatever manner that works for you, and you don't have to always stay on the same pathway. I mean, we change as people, why wouldn't recovery change too? So that's all I got. That's my word of wisdom.
I like that. That you doesn't always have to stay the same. Like we change, we continue to grow. It's good stuff, right?
Evolve,
Yeah, we evolve, and good stuff, everybody. Well, thank y'all. This was kind of just a little
A kick it session.
Yeah, and it was nothing was planned. What's that when it's not planned? What's the word I'm looking for?
Impromptu.
It was just impromptu, you know. So we just wanted to get on here and give y'all some information and just let y'all see some people in recovery. You know, we got some good podcasts coming up. We're gonna on Tuesday we have a gentleman named Dawu coming on here, and then on Thursday we have Tylene, who's a staff member here. She's coming on, and then Wednesday we're still gonna do Women Wednesday. And you know, then we'll probably do a couple little quick things on Monday and Friday. We just want to get a lot of content out here. That's our goal this year with the podcast, is just get y'all some content out there. We'll let God do the rest. You know, as far as the subscribes and the likes and the sponsorship, man, you know, of course we want that to get picked up out there. So if you listen and you like it, you know, help it along, like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. That's the best way to
leave
help
a comment.
Yeah.
If you got something on your mind or a question, we read through the comments. We'll get to them. We'll try to answer any questions that are thrown our way in the most honest of ways we know at the time.
That's right. And so with that, shout out. We love you, sponsors. Steve already scrolled them across the screen. Thank y'all. I did use Rooted Hair Studio. They gave me a great discount. So thank you, Rooted Hair Studio.
I can tell out too.
No, not me.
Looks very good.
I took my daughter there and she got highlights done. She's 13 years old. It's the first time ever getting highlights. She got half highlights. You know, it's all stuff I'm learning. She got half highlights, and you know, I loved it. She loved it. She was very grateful. Loves that. She wants to go back, but I honestly couldn't tell.
They're half lights.
Yeah. And I was talking to my wife. She's like, yeah, a lot of times you're not gonna like. We see it. You're not gonna see it unless you like brighten, get it real bright. But it looked beautiful. She loved her hair. She really did. So thank you, Rooted Hair Studio. Y'all rock. And Farley Center, thank you for every day of the week doing Dharma Recovery, because you help this guy over here, man. If you got anybody that wants to come do one here every day of the week, let us know. All right.
Peace,
everyone.
Did you